Okay, welcome to the Working Class Podcast. I'm back with one of my best friends and one of my favorite other lawyers, Paige Sparks. Paige, how are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Thanks for coming back. I thought we might have scared you away the first time.
No, I just don't have any upcoming travel plans to California.
Dude, I wish we could have gotten you out here. That was really fun last time.
I enjoyed it a lot. We'll have to plan some trips like that to do. That way I can hang out with your team too. They're so cool.
You know what I remember way back when everyone was just starting to get big on TikTok. Like you and I had just met. You were growing really big on TikTok. I was starting to grow. Wasn't there that like influencer lawyer retreat you did in Vegas?
Yes, which I was severely disappointed because let me tell you, I was the only person that showed up to work, Ryan. and
What?
everyone was it was Vegas. I had never been to Vegas before. I didn't know what to expect. And then everyone was just kind of like wasted the whole time and nobody made like collaborative TikToks. I was so disappointed.
Oh, I see. So everyone was partying and having a good time, which is kind of the point of Vegas. But it was one of those what happens here stays here. Like no one filmed anything.
My impression was that it was all of us getting together. We'd do stuff together. I thought it was going to be like the influencer Instagram girls that would get together and make stuff together, content, you know? So maybe it was my own setup for failure. I don't know.
I'll be your Instagram girly. We can do that next time you're out here to the podcast.
We need your Samantha to find some trending sounds that we can do. That would be so funny.
Dude, why do you have to live in St. Louis? Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just be in San Diego with us?
Well, first of all, I can't afford it to live in San Diego. Not all of us.
No one can. That's the big joke out here. No one can. No, I would love to do some kind of attorney retreat thing, like get all the like big attorneys because we all like each other and we know each other now way better than we did back at the beginning. Like when we were all just starting to make content and I remember I got an invite to the Vegas thing and I was literally too shy to go because I had like 8,000 followers.
Oh,
I was like, I don't count. I got this by mistake. No one wants me. And now I wish I went. So
some scandalous things happened on that Vegas trip. And I thought I wanted to be like, show me how you do your whatever. Or like, how do you do this? Like, I thought it was going to be like, cool. And it was partying. It was partying. And was there hooking up? Yeah. Not by me. I was there with all my girlfriends that came with me. Allegedly. Nothing. I didn't do anything, but other people may or may not have canoodled. Okay, so maybe Vegas is not the place to do a lawyer influencer meetup. For sure. Where would we go? Where do we do for this one? I think we should do somewhere pretty and very Instagrammable, like Alberta, Canada or something. Oh, actually, that's tight. Banff and like that whole region in Canada is so freaking gorgeous. I want to go. Absolutely. We're going into an election year, and depending on how shitty the shit show gets, I might hang out in Canada for some period of time. You just wait. It's funny. Every election year, Google will put out its like search results, and you'll see like Americans looking for Canadian passports. How to move to Canada? Every election year, everyone super panics and freaks out about that. We'll see what happens. I want to move there for their healthcare. Dude, get me some of that healthcare, please. Right. Please. Well, California has something. I had a mystery bill pop up recently, and all my followers were like, just move to Canada. You don't have to pay a penny. And I'm like, wouldn't that be nice? Oh, okay. Yeah, just pack up shop. I mean, there's part of me that wonders, like, what would it be like to try practicing in Canada? I'm sure they have better employment laws than we do. They're probably like very proper and polite, and nobody's like yelling at each other how American civil court is, They don't even need lawyers because everyone's just so polite. They get it worked out before court. They tickle each other. Well, I was thinking of that. Yeah. Employment, maybe there's some lawsuits. I don't know, but personal injury lawyers, do those even exist in Canada? Because if your healthcare is paid for, if your healthcare is paid for, there's nothing else to do except say sorry. You still have damages, I bet, but I don't know how the legal scene is there. I've never met a lawyer from Canada. I don't know. My sister dated one briefly,
but I've never met a Canadian lawyer. Maybe one day we will. But
I think you need to get
anyway,
them on your podcast so we can just ask them questions like, what do you do?
exactly. Let's get some Canadian lawyers on here. I want to meet them. I want to get to know these people. But let's talk about you, Paige. I wanted to bring you on because you had some really interesting stuff pop off on the internet today. And one of them had to do with a very popular, he's a country singer, Mr. Luke Combs.
Let me start off by saying I love Luke Combs. I wish him well. I said nothing bad about Luke Combs, but I'm getting death threats in my Instagram messages because I talked about his affiliates have hired someone to sue a fan. And that's what I did a video on, just like a procedural part of that. And everyone just listened to the beginning, Ryan, of like Luke Combs is suing a fan and then was like threatening me. I'm not watching the whole video. I'm like, I said he's a nice guy at the end. He's like paying her and doing. Do you know anything about the lawsuit?
See, yeah, well, just from your video, I wasn't paying attention to it, and I watched your whole video, but I did look at the comments because it's so funny. In the beginning, you're like, oh, Luke Combs is suing a fan, and your comments are a bunch of people going, actually, and it's
You're
like,
wrong.
wait a minute, just wait to the end. So walk us back. What actually happened with this lawsuit?
So I guess his management team works with law firms to crack down on intellectual property rights, copyright infringement, trademark infringement. And it's important for people who aren't familiar with this law. It's one of those things where if you don't use it, you can lose it. So you do have to defend those rights, which is why we see these kind of random lawsuits sometimes, or why Disney goes after everyone selling tumblers with their logos on it.
Oh, wait a minute. So, I mean, I don't practice intellectual property law. I took a course in law school, though.
I know enough to be dangerous.
I know enough to hurt myself. Yeah. So are you saying that, it looks like, and I'm happy to believe that corporations are evil. Everyone knows what my brand is, but it looks like corporations are just squishing the little guy because they are evil. But it sounds like you're saying there's another motivation. Like if I put Mickey Mouse on a mug and Disney doesn't sue me, they might lose the right to enforce that copyright. Is that what you're saying?
So my understanding is, and again, I know enough to be dangerous about this area, but yeah, if you don't lose it, if you don't use it, you can lose it. So if you don't regularly and consistently enforce your copyright rights, for example, that can start to chip away of where you can enforce them. So
I see. It's not an automatic thing. It's like over time. Letting it go. Right. Gotcha.
But Disney is about to lose their copyright to the Mickey Mouse logo. Did you know that too? But that's a whole nother.
I heard about that public domain thing because what is the public domain rule? It's a long time. It's not 100 years.
Yeah, it's
public
like
domain
if
time limit. I'm looking this up.
Yeah, okay, you look it up. I don't know what the exact
70 years.
Is.
It's 70 years from the date the author dies.
Okay. Yeah, so that one is about to become fair game, I guess. Well, that's not legal advice. Nobody take that as legal advice. I don't know for sure. But so with Luke Combs, what was happening is this woman, I guess, went to a concert, got inspired, and wanted to make tumblers with him on there. And so she bought stickers and stuff and would put them on there and make these tumblers she was selling. She only sold like 18, made like $380. Doesn't matter, though. When, you break the law, you break the law. Allegedly.
Wait, $380 on 18 tumblers?
Yeah, that's what she said. I don't know.
That's actually not bad. Hold on. 300 and how much? Wait, was it 300 and what?
$380 was her profit. And she said she sold 18
That was her profit? She's selling them for, well, if that's profit, she's profiting $21 a tumbler. Well, she's selling these for like $40 because you got to think shipping and then like putting it together too. Who pays $40 for a tumbler?
A lot of people pay even more for like designed or like 3D ones. Oh my gosh, they pay a lot. God. It's really like art.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah. So she was, I guess, trying to raise money for her medical bills she had, which like everyone's very sympathetic to, but the law doesn't care, So she was raising money and went to go access the funds and saw her store was shut down. And that's when she first realized that she had been part of this lawsuit involving like copyright and intellectual property things. And do you know how they served her with the lawsuit, which was proper under Illinois law? By email.
I heard about that.
Can you imagine that?
Email. See, here's the thing. When you're in an actual lawsuit, like the parties know each other, you can waive formal service and you can serve electronically and you can do email service once you're already in. At least in California, that's fine. Yeah, like once you're already in, like, yeah, email's fine. But to initiate service for the first time with email is super duper dicey, because if that thing goes to spam or like Google blocks it or something, what do you do?
That's what she said happened. She said it was in her spam inbox. So like as it sits today, nobody get any ideas. But if you send me a notice of a lawsuit in Illinois and it goes in my spam, it's still proper service. Isn't that crazy?
That's beyond crazy. Now, there has to be steps you can take, because I know that, you know, the preferred method is personal service. Like we all saw Pineapple Express with Seth Rogen. Remember that? Did you ever see that intro sequence? And he like disguised himself as a surgeon. It's like, you've been served, disguised himself as a pizza guy. You've been served. It's sneaky and it sucks. But there's a good reason for that, because you can't have a system where people can just say, oh, no lawsuit for me. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I politely decline.
You can't have that. But you also need personal, so that someone like him can attest, like, yeah, I met this person at this place at this time, and I delivered the paperwork to them.
And they were put on notice. Yeah.
Yeah. But so, with the email, you don't have that.
So default judgment got entered because she didn't show up because she didn't know about it, which she does have a remedy probably. And that's not what I was talking about. I was just horrified you can be served by email in Illinois now. It's a new law, apparently. That's all my video was about. That's all my video was about, Ryan. And everybody only listened to the beginning and wanted to correct me and like threaten my life. And then someone on Instagram has even reached out pretending to be like Luke Combs' fake personal publicist and like sending threats. I mean, people are just unhinged. I didn't even say, at the end, I even said he's like paying her money. He feels bad for her. He said he's going to let her out of it and not have to pay anything. And he's flying her out to shows and like doing all these nice things. And I said that at the end, I'm like, what a great guy. And nobody watches the whole thing though, I guess.
No one does. It's kind of that same prop. And I'm so sorry it happened to you, Paige, because anyone listening, you're like the nicest person in the world. I know. It's just, I think you deserve better. But I mean, anyone knows, like, there was a feature Twitter had back when it was Twitter. I remember if you tried to share a headline or an article, it would put up a little toggle that says, hey, would you like to actually read the article before you share it?
What?
Because no one reads the article. No one reads it. People see the headline and then they react to the headline.
I can't believe that. I wish everything
Lawyer Paige hates Luke Combs. That's the headline, and then people see that and react to it. And what they don't see is, hey, look at this crazy legal thing. You can be served by email in Illinois.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Problems.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. I pulled it up. I pulled it up here. It's Supreme Court Rule 102. This is Illinois Supreme Court reinforces service of summons allowable via social media, text, and email.
So isn't that insane? Because someone else messaged me too, and they said this is how I got served with my divorce through Facebook Messenger.
Really? Does it say? I got to see this. Because because you still need proof of service. Like even when we do informal service in California, I still do a proof of service. Like my paralegal will sign a proof of service and say, I caused this to be served at this day. This is what I sent. So there has to be something like that. So you got to have something.
There must be no delivery confirmation then. And you just have to say you sent it is the only thing I can think of, because obviously there was no confirmation here. But
there's
I don't know.
No way that's cool enough.
There's a reason
there's
I'm not
no
licensed in Illinois.
No, there's a reason I'm not either. But what's interesting is I guess that happened to Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, I think. Didn't he get served via Twitter?
Oh, I didn't know that. Did he really? For what?
Let me take a look at that. Shaq, service of process, Twitter. Let me see if I can find this here. Yes. Oh, my God. Here it is. CBS News. Oh, but it was denied. Attorneys requested they be allowed to serve Shaquille O'Neal via direct message on his Twitter and Instagram pages, claiming that Texas law allows for electronic service in circumstances. But on Tuesday, District Judge K. Michael Moore of the Southern District of Florida denied the motion. Okay, so they said that they would not allow. My
question is why? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Why serve Shaq through Twitter?
I guess he's been dodging. This was
well, you gotta be
back in April 2023 is what this is. So I didn't hear about that. Yeah. Well, I think he's probably just hard to find. I mean, I'm not going to accuse the guy of dodging service. I mean, he's probably just busy and flies around a lot. I mean, he's Shaq. He's got a rap career now. He's busy.
Also, that is a more exciting headline, like Shaq served through Twitter versus like Shaq traditionally serves through process server.
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, and also think like how many weird DMs do you get from people pretending to be the Meta security team? Yeah. I mean, I don't see all my DMs. Most of them go to the like spam, the requests on there. And a lot of them, to be quite honest, if they're like trying to be really important, they're fake. A lot of the stuff that comes in pretending to be an invoice or a lawsuit is fake.
That's what's a concern a lot of people raised in the comments. They were like, if I got notice I was served in a lawsuit, I would immediately think it was a scam and move on, which I would do the same.
So would I. I mean, if someone knocks on my door and they say you've been served and I've got the papers, I'd look at the case number and I'd look it up and go, oh shit, I guess this is real.
It's a little more serious.
But I mean, even today, Paige, I got an invoice from Norton Anti-Lock or whatever for like $800, but I don't use Norton. And I looked and the email is like from like a bunch of random numbers and stuff at gmail.com. So I'm like, obviously this is fake. I'm throwing this in the trash. But, you get an email from an attorney you've never heard of. Never heard of an attorney. It looks fake.
They have a template one they'll send that is like, hello, attorney, do you do contract work? We're looking for someone to do outsource from the Netherlands just to review this contract for $1 million.
I almost fell for one of those. Way back when I first started my practice, and it was the very beginning where it's like you're super scared, you have no idea where your rent money and food money is going to come from, right? And you're just praying for any client to walk through your door and need something, and I got one of those emails. It was like, it was like that. They were like, we need help leasing drilling equipment to some company in Poland, and I'm like, well, you came to the right place.
You're like, just your lucky day. I do that every day.
Well, it was funny. I emailed them a couple of times. I was like, okay, can you tell me a little bit more about what you need? Like, what kind of contract do you need? What are you trying to do here? And it just unfortunately became clear even back then that it was not real because their answers made no sense. Because before they were telling me what they need, they kept telling me how much money they wanted to pay me. And I'm like, that's the opposite of how this works. Like, tell me what you need. And then I'll just set you my hourly rate.
I already agreed.
And that's what tipped me off, and that it was a scam because they were so big on, we need to pay you $50,000. We have a budget. It's $50,000. Where can we remit the check for $50,000? And I'm like, that's a lot more than I was going to charge you. And it's weird that you keep telling me about this.
Like, your spidey sense was tingling, wasn't it?
I think, well, the sad thing is I think that works on some people, even though it is obvious that you're getting hustled.
So there was a similar,
with a clear head.
There was a similar thing that happened to me, but with slightly different situation. So like everyone in Missouri refers me their employment cases, like other lawyers, because not a lot of people do it. So I get a lot of referrals, which I'm super grateful and appreciative of. But there was like 1 month of hell. Like 4 years ago, there was a well-known scam going around. They never even changed their name. It was like the same name they used for this fake client. And everyone in the world was referring it to me. I'm like, please quit referring me John Doe. Like, this is a scam.
Oh, no.
It was a very high level, intellectual, like basically cash the check and send me the difference scam that lawyers did fall for in Missouri because someone was asking for help. And we're like, well, you got scammed. But this guy called. I did an intake with him, Ryan, in detail.
Really?
It was the same story each time he got referred to me, that he rejected advances from his female boss that like touched his leg and groped him on the way home one day when her car was broken and he was taking her home. What a nice guy. Then they had a settlement and now they're not paying the settlement. And so he just needed someone to enforce the settlement. So like you said, very tempting to be like, all the work's done. I just need to enforce it. And so then once I started asking him questions he couldn't answer, I'd be like, so what did HR do? And then he didn't have an answer. And then the dates were changing. And I'm like, okay, you're not real.
Well, the thing about that is I don't think you're his target for the scam. He's not looking for someone who asks questions. I'm assuming it's a he. Right. I don't know. I mean, women scam too. So, but like this guy. Yeah.
He was looking for someone who doesn't do employment law that would just enforce the judgment and put the check in their trust account. That's what he was looking for.
That sounds bad. I mean, that doesn't even sound good. Like, hey, I'm
He
here.
scammed a couple lawyers.
That's crazy. You know, we had something similar come into my office, and I remember my intake team was pretty upset because just unsolicited, someone emailed my team directly, and the email was just a bunch of really gory pictures of a guy's face like shredded up, and
Why?
the subject line said dog bite, which anyone who follows my social media knows how I feel about dog bites right now.
Wow.
I'm on the dog side, but the the scam is basically, here's all the damages. Look how messed up I am. I have a settlement for $250,000, but they're trying to say that they can't pay. I need someone to go enforce the judgment, just like what you did. Same thing.
Smart.
I don't understand how that scam works. I had a smart friend explain it to me. I was like, how does someone scam me with a fake check? And I guess they were saying that they want you to deposit the check and then send them their piece.
Yeah.
While funds are clearing. And then when the bank later says, hey, this is a bad check, now you're stuck holding the bag. Yes. And the scammer runs off with the money there. That sucks. But also, is that kind of your fault? I mean, attorney's fees need to be reasonable. Are you really going to take a third of $250,000 for a case you did not work on?
My former employer would have. Yeah, that would have worked on him for sure.
Really?
They're like easy money. Yeah, I think they just get greedy sometimes.
You know, it's funny when I make a video and I say, hey, HR isn't your friend. Quick side note, I don't hate HR. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm saying it is not their job to help you win a case against their employer. That's what I mean. But when I say something like that, people will hop in the comments and be like, well, lawyers are bloody, vampire, money hungry, greedy, horrible people. How does that make you feel? Yeah. And I go, I agree. What are you talking about? A lot of lawyers really suck. I've got like 90 opposing counsels right now, and most of them are kind of evil. So I'm not going to sit here and defend lawyers.
I just figured out how to use AI for the first time ever tonight, which is like a big thing for me because I don't do technology. And I took a picture of an opposing counsel and I generated it to look like a devil. And I made their teeth flat out. It was so therapeutic to me. I have it on my background on my computer right now because it's funny.
Big defense firm?
Yep.
Oh, no. Is it the one that starts with a J or a G?
No, but the letter is around there. Yeah. Actually, wait, I don't know. There's two I'm beefing with right now. I get them mixed up. But anyway, it's funny you say that because I was like, I'm going to learn how to use AI to turn this person into a meme.
You should send it to them in a Christmas card.
Maybe, one day when I'm unhinged enough, I might, because they can work me up pretty good.
Have you been getting worked up a lot lately by OCs?
Yes and no, like they're trying to, but I'm like in mega therapy right now. So it's really hard to rile me up because I'm like, that sounds like a you problem. Like, I'm just very like, this is my circle of control. And this is what you're doing is outside of that. So just figure it out, I guess.
That sounds healthy. When did the therapy start?
So I've been doing therapy since when I did your last episode on the podcast. I was really enjoying it and had dabbled in like hypnotherapy, which really helps me. Oh, yeah. So now I'm doing more regular, like day to day, like here's what happened. How can I handle it differently? Or I don't want to feel this way anymore. What are ways I can prevent that kind of thing? And so I love my therapist so much. Her name's Hannah. She's the best. And she tells me the hard truths. Yeah. Shout out to Hannah. Love you, girl. But she tells me the hard truth. So sometimes I'll be like, can you believe this? And she goes, I say this with love, but that situation's not about you and you're trying to control it. Like I had no idea what a control freak I am, Ryan. And she's right. But I'm like, so now I'm trying to be really active about not doing that as much anymore. But I will tell you, anyone who starts doing like mega therapy, you get really resentful to the people who aren't doing that because they don't talk right. Like you'll be like, it seems like you're doing this and I feel like you're doing this. And so when people don't mirror it back to me, I have to be like, they're just not ready for that yet, I guess.
It sounds like you're saying it's frustrating to communicate with people who aren't walking the same path as you. Am I doing this right?
You did. But then so funny things are like Hannah will be like, yeah, so that's just not what you can control. You can control yourself. So I have my circles where I literally just draw two circles and on the inner circle is my circle of control. And anything outside of that, I have to let it go. So that's simple, but it works.
That's tough to do as a litigator, especially because our job is when something blows up, it doesn't really matter what it is. We have to have some kind of answer to it. We
Yeah.
don't just lay down and let things happen. I mean, when did you realize that you needed to start going to therapy, like setting time aside in the week to work on yourself?
A lot of people in my life made it mandatory because I was lashing out at everybody, family,
Really?
friends. I was being mean to everyone because I was just so internalizing all that and not processing these thoughts. Then I was feeling shameful about it. And then it was just snowballing and getting worse. And so everyone was like, you really need to go, say it with love, you need to go. And so I started to, and it's been great ever since. And so I'm not very good at catching it in the moment. And so Samantha, my law partner, has like carte blanche privilege. I'll never get mad if I'm freaking out or if I'm being controlling bitch. She's just says circles, for example. And really? I'm like, you're right. I am doing that. Let's take a break. I'll be right back.
Circles is the safe word.
Circles is the safe word. Yeah.
Does that really work? I mean, when she says circles, is there any part of you, like you're already worked up? Do you like almost want to blow up? Like, man, fuck circles. I'm mad,
Yeah, every time. But then I'm like, she's right. I need to go. I told her I wanted her to do this. Smart people don't get mad as fast, they say. So I'm going to go calm down.
Is that what they say?
That's what I say. It makes sense.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think someone would be smarter to not get mad easier? That was a clunky sentence. Why would a smart person not get mad so easy?
Because getting mad doesn't really get you anywhere. You want to be strategic and you want to be thoughtful and really thorough by what you're doing. And if you let your emotions get in the way, I know we're women, so we're emotional, everyone says, but if you let your emotions get in the way, that clouds that. I can't think of like the next step of how I want to be medieval when I'm back here still getting mad at what happened. So in my mind, smart people don't get mad. They don't react. They're proactive.
I could see that, I guess. I mean, first of all, I'd push back on the women being emotional thing. Some of the most emotional, unhinged, crazy opposing counsels I've dealt with were men.
100%.
Oh my God. It was so funny. We already know like who's going to be a pain in the butt, like that first call with an opposing counsel. And right out the gate, they're acting like you're suing them. They're emotional. They're yelling. Have you had that happen?
I think it's because they like BCC their clients or something, because there's no reason for that. Like it's theatrics.
I had an attorney yell at me on a Zoom the other day. Like he was like, I'm going to be the asshole here. And this is outrageous. And his client was in there. And it was like to me, it was really obvious he was putting on a show for his client. Just
like literally being like, we're going to sue you.
Yeah. And in the moment, I really wanted to shut him down. Like he was saying some stuff that was legal gibberish and I wanted to like dunk on him, but I think I had my breakfast before that call.
Oh.
And I thought, look, my goal in this call is just to get XYZ information. It's an active case, so I don't want to say too much. My goal is just to get XYZ information and move to the next step. There's no points for me dunking on him, and getting into it with him is just going to make it harder to get this case, because I'm trying to move this case forward. Yeah, I'm trying to move this case forward in a timely fashion, and getting into a little like dick measuring contest with this guy is just going to screw that up. So in that moment, I actually felt really proud of myself because I really wanted to just get into it with him. But you said something that made sense earlier. You said you would feel like shameful after it.
Yeah, because we're not mean. We don't like being like that.
I hate being like that. And truth be told, not every time, but a lot of times when I lash out and snap at an opposing counsel, I do feel shamed after. Like I don't like it feels good in the moment. Isn't it weird?
Yeah,
it's
when you're like, fuck you, I'm not doing this thing you need me to do. And then the next day you're on a different case. You're like, hey, can we get an extension on these interrogatories?
I know. It's like, one of those things that just, you're right. So, I mean, can anyone learn to not be so hot in the moment? Do you have to be smart?
So all my therapy pretty much focuses on not being reactive, because I'm a very reactive person, and it's kind of like a trauma response, honestly. And so my therapy focuses on not being reactive in that, so that I think and I process and then I respond how I would want to, instead of in the moment, heat of the moment, freaking out. And it has really helped me not feel shameful or embarrassed of what I said the night before when I log into my email the next day. and it's been so much more peaceful. So like, as much as it's hard to do, I have to actively think about it every moment pretty much. And it's, in the long run, it's kind of like you're retraining your brain and it gets better.
I think that's a really good thing you're doing. I think that's going to help you stay sane for as long as possible. I wonder, because I wonder about that sometimes, because our job is perpetual conflict.
It's hard. Like, yeah.
And sometimes I worry, I'm like, is there any risk that litigation is rewiring our brains? Like, 100%. Is this turning me into a caveman?
So I think this is sometimes why you and I get so defensive in our comments, is because we're always used to everyone coming for us, fighting for us. And most of the time, if someone's contacting us, unless it's a potential client, it's someone who's telling us we're wrong, telling us we're stupid, you're trying to fight. And so I have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. That's one of my therapy rules. And so now I'm supposed to like not be so defensive in that way, and it works. But you're right. The being in constant conflict, it's like you're in the boiling frog, where all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm a monster. Like I'm becoming like the people I hate.
You're 1,000% right with that boiling frog thing. It starts with a couple of small clapbacks in the comments. It starts with that. Then it becomes response videos. Then it becomes lashing out at people in real life. You know,
then you have a Reddit subreddit about you.
Oh my God. I don't look at those. Don't look at those.
Oh, I love reading them.
Really? I mean, there's part of me that's like, look, if someone is going to comment like shitty things on my Instagram, there's a couple of responses available. You can ignore it. That's a valid response. And I think I ignore it most of the time. I can also choose to respond aggressively and like actually engage in a merits-based argument with the person, or I can just have a snarky little remark.
You're really good at those.
Thank you.
You're really good at the one-liners. I like wish I could be that fast with them.
Well, I got plenty of time. You'll see the comment is like 9 hours ago, and then my snarky remark is 2 hours ago, because I spent 7 hours just conjuring up. No, but it's because getting in those like lengthy debates with people in the comments, it is the biggest drain on your energy.
It is a lot of energy.
It's like arguing with someone in line at the airport. I mean, you're just putting on this public show for everyone. No one's changing their mind. It's just making you feel bad. But a little snarky one-liner, I like. And the reason, tell me if I'm wrong, I like it because it's not me getting into the mud and fighting with someone. It's not necessarily a personal attack or indulging in angry feelings. It's just an exercise in trying to be witty. It to me, it's almost like a snarky, like try to turn the situation, make it kind of fun.
You're like the dad who's like, good job, little Tommy. Keep trying, and one day you can be as snarky as me.
I like that. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. Like when someone sends, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just excited. Samantha and I do this. She saw a meme, or it was like a TikTok or a meme, and it's so funny and it's really effective. Ryan, you should do it. It's so funny. Whenever we're supposed to do it, like when people mansplain to us, but someone was trying to advertise to me on Instagram, stuff like that, like a couple of weeks ago, was like, hey, we can get you more followers, which, by the way, do you get like constant spam about that, where people are constantly trying to get you to buy followers and all that stuff? It's insane.
Yeah. And I have a quick soapbox on that. Don't buy followers. It screws up your metrics like crazy. You can. There's a couple lawyers, I'm not going to out them, but there's a couple lawyers I know who are bigger than you and I combined on paper. And you look at their videos and their view counts are like 50, 60,000, and their like counts is always the same. It's like always 12,000 likes, which doesn't make sense.
You can always tell by their engagement.
Yeah. If you have 12,000 likes, you should have between 120 and 240,000 views. Like that's a metric that makes sense for that. If you have 40,000 views and 12,000 likes, it's very obvious that's a click farm.
Yeah. And then, and if you can tell if they're consistently all like, I see somewhere they'll be like 2,000 views a video, but they have like 400,000 followers. So you can consistently see that they don't get engagement.
Yeah. And I get why people do it. Like you want to show that you have authority and that you're respected in your field. I get that, but isn't it better to earn it?
I like the community better when it's real like that. And so this guy messaged me and he was like, hey, your metrics suck. Basically, you have all this and this. And I don't make videos for the views. I do it because I enjoy it and because I want it. Hopefully it'll help someone. You know, it's great if you become my client. We're fortunate to get kind of clients from doing content like that potentially, but that's not why you and I do it. We do it to help people. And so instead of explaining all this to him, because he doesn't care and he's trying to sell me something, so we're supposed to just basically act like that. Like you were saying, when you just do your clap back where you're like, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
So like for this guy reaching out, he was like, but your engagement sucks. And I was like, good job, Brad. That's my engagement rate you just sent me. And he couldn't argue with himself because I wasn't giving him anything. It was so funny.
Isn't that so much more satisfying when someone comes for you?
Yeah, so funny.
It's like arguing via judo. You're just redirecting their energy, redirect the bad vibes. I think a lot of people should think about doing things that way, because if you're a bigger creator like us and you have a lot of followers, you get a lot of reps, you get a lot of practice dealing with nasty comments. But for a person who's just living their life normally and has like a normal Instagram, I mean, what's a normal following on Instagram? Like 500 to 1,500 followers?
I don't even know anymore, to be honest.
I think that would be because you would have, what would you have? You'd have like your coworkers, people you went to high school with, people you went to college with, maybe a couple of acquaintances. Like that's a normal life on Instagram, I think. So
that sounds right.
When you post something, it's probably not that often. So there's probably a little bit of, because you and I, we post so much every day, we're totally dead inside. Like we don't even feel anything when we post it.
I know, like you have to really try to hurt my feelings.
Well, yeah, but then the average, and I don't want to say average, just like a normal person who's like, look, my Instagram, it's like my little blog and I'll post once in a while. When they post a picture, it probably feels a little scary. It's like I'm showing people a part of my life. This is something I do once every 2 months. I hope my friends like it and say something nice. And then some jerk says that you have an ugly nose or bad skin or something. I mean, that's got to really hurt, because it's like the once every 2 months that you post someone and some like, asshole is roasting you. So how do you respond to that? So my personal favorite thing to do on mine, I don't get that much hate about like personal things anymore. Most of it's just like, if I get anything, it's because of what I'm talking about and they tell me I'm dumb or I don't know what I'm talking about usually. But my favorite thing to do is to respond with one of your kind of one-liners or whatever, or be like, good job, that's that. Something really condescending but cute. And then I restrict them on Instagram so that they can continue to get roasted in the comments by everybody agreeing or being like, you're a jerk. But they can't respond to defend themselves. But they can see. Oh, is that fair? That's not fair.
I never said it was. Listen.
Paige, you fight dirty.
This is how the world works, okay? Like, it's my page. I'm not going to police the comments. So if you say bad things, you lose your right to comment. That's how it works. You're a guest here. I'm going to hit
you with a hard ball. I like that. You're a guest here. Now, here's the tough question, though. I mean, when you're paid, you have almost 400,000 followers on Instagram. You have almost 2 million on TikTok. I haven't looked at I love your YouTube shorts. I haven't looked at your following.
I neglect my poor YouTube.
Well, it's going to grow, but be that as it may, the point is you have millions of followers. Do you have an obligation to keep comments open and allow like a free marketplace of ideas?
I used to think that, but then I remembered that nobody pays me to do this. This is my page. And if I don't want to give energy to these people, I don't have to, that are putting the hateful comments. So I do police the comments because 2 reasons. I don't care what you say to me. I don't want someone who's going through the situation of the case I'm talking about where they got assaulted by their boss or whatever it is that they don't even want to talk about, to read a comment and see that people think that and be discouraged from taking their case forward, you know? So I think it serves 2 purposes. I don't want someone to read that if it would apply to them and be hurtful or discouraging. And then also I just can't. Like, I don't want to read it.
I think I agree. I feel a little guilty sometimes because it's true. These issues are important. And there's part of me that's like, do I leave the hateful comment up? Because at least this shows, like if I have a video about sexual harassment and I get, first of all, they all look the same. They've got the hat with the sunglasses pictures in their truck. It's always the same profile picture, but they'll say like,
no image. Oh, it's like 12754 user 3.
Exactly. And they'll say something horrible like, oh, women shouldn't be at the workplace. They need to get back to good family values and stay in the kitchen. Or, you know, these girls these days are so promiscuous. They deserve it. Like
that
something horrible. It makes me livid too. But there's part of me that's like, do I leave this up? Because a lot of people will look and say, this never happens. I get those comments too. Like, this lawyer's making things up. This never happens. No one would ever do this. And it's like, that's like saying, I've never seen a bobcat, therefore bobcats don't exist. Like, do you see how stupid you sound?
I hate those comments when they say like, she deserved it, or someone commented that a bunch on a video I shared the other day where someone got assaulted at a Christmas party. And I was just sharing a story of a local case that happened. And the comments that were like, oh, if she did that and was dressed like that and drank that, she deserved it. And so I remove those because that's just nothing but hateful, you know?
It's true. And that's the double-edged sword. It's like, on the one hand, I want to remove it because I want there to be a safe place on my page where anyone who needs help. I mean, look, if you're in California, come to me. You're going to hurt my feelings if you don't. But outside California, please talk to an attorney. Don't just tolerate abuse. It's only going to get worse. And certainly don't leave that bag on the table. I mean, sheesh, if you've been sexually harassed, we can't make we can't go back in time and make the harassment go away, but we can get you a fat check. I mean,
and I think that's what makes you and I different than other lawyers is we do have that safe place where people can ask questions and say, hey, this is happening to me. And they're not afraid to reach out to us, I think, because we promote that. But so I had, back when I really first started and I had a plateau of like 6 months, I was stuck at 200,000 followers on TikTok. And just as like a personal goal,
Poor thing, only 200,000. Wow.
Back in the day, that was like, I was so disappointed because I was like that for a long time. One of my friends actually made me like a congratulations champagne that I loved when I got more than that. I still have it to this day saved.
That's so funny.
Little milestones. But I reached out to Justin Schumann. He's a really good content creator. He tells it like it is. And he did just kind of coaching things with me, drastically boosted my views overnight and got me over that slump because it was more authentic content, because I was trying to please everyone and I wasn't just being authentic to me. And he explained it perfectly to me where he was like, think of it this way: as you're growing, your page is your community, you're growing. And if someone doesn't align with that or our thoughts, you don't really want them anyway. So I never care when I lose followers. I never care when any of that happens because our mindset is you're not here for our message anyway, you know? So that's kind of how I like to think about it. But it's my page, my rules. So if people are hateful for no reason, nobody needs to see that, is what I think.
Protect your peace, Queen.
This is my era of protecting my peace. Last year was revenge. Smart. Now it's peace.
What was the revenge arc?
When the revenge arc was quitting my job and then starting the law firm with my sister-in-law, and everyone said we weren't going to be able to do it. People in the community were like, you guys are going to get in cat fights. They said really sexist things to us, actually, that I'm like, you don't say this to two men that are law partners, you know? But that was our revenge, where we just it was our fuck around and find out era, where everyone's like, try me, ho, you know, that little SpongeBob meme.
Oh my God, yes.
That was literally us the whole year. So now we can be a little calm.
Why was it a revenge arc, though? I mean, there's people who didn't believe in you, and that's got to suck, especially when they're saying, oh, you'll get in cat fights and it's not going to work out. That's so dumb. But why did it feel like revenge? Like, was there something specific that made you think like, dude, I'm going to show you, fuck you?
Yeah, like I felt like I had been held back so much at my previous job, and I wasn't able to flex my lawyer wings by design because some firms, everybody listening, some firms, when you have a associate you really like, some places won't develop them more because they want to keep them where they're at, so they're not marketable with those skills. So, for example, when we had left, I had never been allowed to take my own deposition at that point in time.
Wait, you never allowed to take your own depo?
No, I'd do all the prep work. I'd get all the exhibits lined up. I would do everything we were supposed to do, set it up, notice it up, everything, you know how it goes. But when it comes down to it, I wasn't allowed to learn that skill fully. You know what I mean? And it did hinder me because before we started our own firm, I was trying to get a job anywhere. And that was one of the first things people would ask me is like, well, you never taken a depo? And I'm like, no, but just let me show you I can do it. And it really did hinder me. So because I got the door slammed in my face so many times, which when I'm told no, it's good, it's for a reason. And that's when Sam and I went back and were like, listen, we've got nothing to lose. Let's just swing for the fences. And we did.
I know we've talked about it, but I really like your story, Paige, because I think a lot of people can benefit from it. I think
I hope so.
you're one of the real ones. Like there's so many people out there who they pretend to be self-made. They pretend to be this huge success. And I'm not taking anything away from their hard work, but they had these advantages that the average person trying to get inspiration from doesn't have. And what I love about you is someone working a minimum wage job, someone working at the freaking Quick Trip.
Yeah.
It's like anyone looking at you and saying, she is so stunning. She is so incredible. I can't believe how successful she is. They're right. You are successful and you deserve that respect. But if there's any part of that brain that says it could never be me, they're mistaken, because you were making what, 15 bucks an hour at Quick Trip?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know then. I think when I was in Quick Trip, minimum wage was like $10 an hour.
My California brain cannot compute. I'm so sorry.
They're paid really well in bonuses. So they always, you know, what's so funny is whenever I have clients like that I really love, and they can't get a job or they're whatever, I'm like, go work at Quick Trip. Managers make, a new manager, no experience, makes $50,000 right off the bat. And they go get a job right away.
Did you see how much Buc-ee's is paying people? Did you see the sign?
Have you ever been in a Buc-ee's, by the way?
Yes, I went once and I took a bunch of pictures.
Wow. It's like a sensory overload. Like I just want to take it all in it's like a Kmart bigger than that.
I would love to time travel and bring a medieval peasant into a Buc-ee's and just try to explain to them what is going on. Like they're slicing meats and singing. They've got every possible Slurpee flavor you can imagine. They got jerky for everything.
That's true.
But I'm looking at this. It doesn't say what state this is in, but I'm looking at a sign here. It said, so entry level, $16 an hour. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But then you look at a GM, that's the top of the food chain. GMs at Buc-ee's, it says 150 to 225K a year.
Yeah, because they make sales based off of store profit. At least is how Quick Trip structured it. And I know other companies do too. So if you cut down on shoplifting and you are staying on top of keeping things stocked so you can sell more and things, they incentivize it big time that you get bonuses based off of your inventory and your sales.
Holy cow. You know, I know that it's like my brand to be like, oh, screw these corporations. These employers are screwing you. But I'm looking at this Buc-ee's sign right now, and I'm going to read this aloud. This is crazy. Entry level, cashier, maintenance, warehouse, grocery, $16 an hour. Food service, car wash, $19 an hour. Team lead, $18 to $21 an hour. Department manager, $23 to $31 an hour. And then your full-time jobs, no experience necessary. Assistant GM, $100K a year.
So I think it sounds great, but then part of me is like, why do they have to pay people that much to work there? Like that just makes me wonder, but that is a lot of money.
It's, you know, it's funny that you could say, oh, they have to pay a lot because it's bad. But let's be honest, the worst jobs in the world pay the worst too. In quick shout out for the book I'm writing. In my book that's going to come out hopefully next year, the very opening chapter is I tell a story of my first day as an EMT.
That's awesome.
It was not awesome.
That's awesome that you have that story to share.
It's good. I had the story. It was not awesome. But anyway, I was making $10 an hour, which I know based on where some people might be, that sounds like a lot. But in San Diego at the time, that was not a lot. It was very hard to make.
$2 an hour to everyone else.
I don't know how the pay differential would work, but it was such a draining, difficult job, and it paid garbage. And I think part of the reason it paid garbage is the turnover was so high because they knew they could treat us any way they wanted to because they knew we were all temporary. Most of us were there to put in 6 months and then go to paramedic school or go to fire academy.
Kind of going through the motions.
We just needed that little notch on our resume. So they knew that. And they knew that we all needed a letter of rec from these guys. So they had such an obscene amount of leverage because they knew like one bad word from us and you'll never get into medic school. If we don't really give you a letter of rec, you don't go to fire academy. And there's 100 people trying to get into fire academy or medic school. So if you can't take the heat, then we'll just replace you. So all that to say, I don't think high pay necessarily is there to compensate you for poor working conditions. I think poor working conditions sometimes feed into low pay.
I could see that. And I've seen that with some jobs, but I wanted to ask you, when's your book coming out?
I'm hoping end of next year. We're still like in the planning phase. I have not signed an NDA. I'm surprised. Really? I'm surprised they didn't give me one. I would think. I've never worked with a big publisher before. This is my first time doing it.
I didn't know
never worked with an agent before. Yeah, I have a bunch of books out, but those were just projects. Like those were self-published. Like I just was passionate about a specific thing and wanted to put it out there.
You know, I love you sent me one time whenever I posted a question about civil procedure on my Instagram. It was like a dumb question I asked. Remember that?
Did I send you the trial objections book?
Yeah. And I have it still. We looked at it and I'm like, this is really helpful.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. I was proud. I self-published that one. I had a judge I was clerking for at the time. I actually wrote that in law school. And what I did is I was at Superior Court and I was interviewing judges and asking them like, hey, I want to write this book. And it was for my own education. The whole reason I wrote it was for me to learn it as best as I could.
Is that how you learn best, is by like immersing yourself and having to reteach it basically? Absolutely.
The best way to learn is by teaching or explaining in some way. So like one thing I did with my intake team at my office is I actually had them make a course. I had them make a PowerPoint presentation called Labor Law 101. And then I asked them to send it to me. And I haven't actually done anything with it. I have no use for the course that I can think of right now. But the point of it was for them to make it. To
learn it and become an authority on
it. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I did with the trial objections book. I just wanted to make sure I really knew my rules of evidence. And I knew that like I could see 3L ending. And I'm like, I'm going to be out there in the wild, like doing lawyer shit in a minute. I need to know my stuff. Yeah. So I was really lucky. I was working at the Superior Court. I got to talk to some judges and some experienced attorneys, and I put this book together. And what's funny is I published that thing in years ago. It must have been early 2019. I don't quite recall. And I still make like $300 or $400 a month from that book.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
That is a life hack. Everyone in law school needs to write a book and get residual income. That's genius.
That's what I wanted to share with people, because that is such a cool hack. I mean, you got to provide value. I have 7 books. Most of them make no money. That one is the one that's like making a few $100 a month, whatever. But awesome. Dude, it is. It's really cool. And what a cool thing that you can just immerse yourself in a topic, put together a book. By all means, don't hide it. Like collaborate with people and make sure you have something valuable. Don't just make something to make something, but you can learn a topic really well and get paid for it.
You need to totally troll your opposing counsel and send them copies of your book after hearings and stuff and be like, you could brush up on a few things.
I thought about that because
that would be so funny.
Dude, I was cross-examining a witness and my OC was like screaming about leading questions the whole time. And I'm like, bitch, did you fall asleep in evidence? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's a cross-examination.
You should totally troll the ones you don't like. That would be like the ultimate power move, to be like, here's a book, so compliments of
thought you might need this.
Of Centurion trial attorneys, so we can have a better sparring next time.
Oh, that would be so funny. Here's a fun fact about that book. I made the cover on it. Looks pretty good. I think I made it on. I totally made that book myself. I'm not going to take all the credit. I did have professors and judges help me with the content, but actually producing it was all me. I made the cover on PowerPoint, and then I just Control P'd the PowerPoint and then
because it looks really professional. I would have never guessed that.
It's literally a PowerPoint slide.
That's awesome.
Paige, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to make it. And at the time I didn't have any money. So I think I spent like $75 to make sure. Yeah. I spent like $75 to make sure I had the rights to the picture. And that was like a big
That's really smart though. Cause I wouldn't have even thought to do that until like 3 months after I got a cease and desist. I'd be like, oh, I should probably change that picture.
Or you got an email in your spam folder that you're being sued by Luke Combs.
Sued in Illinois.
So wait, we diverged. So let's go back to Luke Combs for a minute. So it sounds like he may not even know that there are attorneys enforcing his copyrights on his behalf. He's not even aware of it.
That's what he said, that he's not aware of it. And he said that he told them he doesn't want them to go after individuals or fans, just the bigger retailers that are selling counterfeit, like shirts with his face on it at a mass level kind of thing that would like cut into his sales. That
was his response in his video.
He said that. What's true? You know, you and I don't know, because that's what I would say too if I got caught suing a fan. You know, I don't know, but he says he didn't know about it. He felt really bad about it. He even called this lady and said sorry. He's going to fly her out. He gave her $11,000.
Wow, wait, what's the $11,000 for? I think you said she was medical.
She has really a bunch of medical bills, and her $5,500 profit in Amazon is locked up right now. And she was saying she needs the money because of Christmas and her medical bills and stuff. So he felt bad and he's going to double what she's got saved up.
That's where the money came from. So what a guy. I mean, it's true, but what a guy.
But wait, there's more. Billy Mays style. Okay, so his last thing he's doing is he is making a tumbler that looks kind of like her tumbler, and he's going to sell it, and then the profits will go to her and her family, is what he said.
Holy cow. Is that worth having a default judgment against you and going all around the news?
I think so. She cleaned up.
You think so? I mean, she's a fan.
Yeah.
So what a roller coaster. Like, you're a fan and your favorite artist is suing you. That's got to feel terrible.
If Taylor Swift sued me, I would legitimately cry, Ryan. I would literally call you panicking and be like, what, Taylor Swift is suing me?
Oh my God.
I can't imagine.
That would, you know, what would be funny is the answer of the complaint. You just write, look what you made me do, right on the top line. Yeah.
Forgive me.
That would make me so. I think about that sometimes because I know that I say controversial things. I don't think they're controversial.
Everything we say is true and supported by, you know, allegations. Whatever we're saying, we don't just make stuff up.
Well, what I mean is I tend to pop off because I have very strong opinions about the way we should treat people in our country, and I've been known to say some things that can rub people the wrong way. And I just imagine like how sad I would be if like something I did went super viral and then like freaking Metallica makes a statement like Ryan Steiger is the worst guy. We can't believe him. He is forever banned from our concert and can't, you know, because you'll see that happen with politicians.
Facial recognition to kick you out of the Metallica concert.
Yeah. Well, that happened during the Trump campaign. He kept using music from artists, and granted, he was using it without their permission. And they were saying like, hey, you can't use our music, not just because of the copyright, but also because we can't stand you.
And political, yeah.
And I think about that sometimes. I'm like, oh man, what if I'm wearing my Tupac t-shirt and then the company that owns the rights to him says that I suck? That would hurt my feelings so bad.
That would hurt my feelings too. But I think if we're not getting cease and desist, we're not pushing it enough. You know, like I thought I was really going to get one with the Matt Rife video because he was like blocking people and sending crazy stuff, or, you know, some of the TikTok drama. And I hope one day someone sends me one. Do you know what a great video that would be? To be like, look who sent me a cease and desist.
You know who's an absolute beast is Attorney Tom, because he's gotten cease and desist letters like that before. And he made a video. Dude, Tommy's a monster. I freaking love that guy. Tom, if you're listening, you're probably too busy. But if you are listening, love you, dude.
Probably too busy being the king of YouTube.
Dude, he's such a cool dude. But he did that. Someone sent him a cease and desist and he just made a video and just shredded it.
You idiot. Why would you send a lawyer a cease and desist?
It's so funny. I've had disputes just with vendors and things like that in my company, and they'll threaten me with like legal gibberish. Just they'll start saying legal sounding words, and I'm like, this might work against your other clients, but what you just said to me is word salad. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
I love when you say word salad. I stole that phrase from you just because it's so funny.
I don't remember where I got it from. Do you know what? I think I got it from a professor in college.
So funny. Every time you use it, it's like perfectly for whatever the scenario is. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
I think it's great. Well, hold on. Let's talk. Speaking of words, let's talk about Matt Rife for a minute, because he is in a lot of trouble. Now, people who don't know, Matt Rife is a comedian who became very famous for being sort of like a heartthrob. Like, people thought he was really handsome.
Overnight.
Yeah, because he has, I'm looking at pictures of him. I got to be honest, not my type, but strong jawline, piercing blue eyes, hair. He's got a Hollywood actor, rock star look to him, I guess. Again, not my type, but I get it. And most of his followers were female. But he had a special, and I think his opening joke is the one that got him canceled. Did you hear that joke?
I did. It was an unfunny to me joke about domestic violence. And I love dark humor within the right time and place and how you set it up. But when you do that, it's got to really be funny. You can't do like a low level dark humor joke because if it's not funny and it doesn't hit, everyone's kind of like, what's going on? And so to me, his domestic violence joke, it's an old, like someone got punched in the face for being a bad cook was what his joke boiled down to.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was basically, well, let's go back a minute. You said there's a time and a place. I mean, let's steelman this for a minute. Isn't the time and the place a comedy show? Like, could it be argued that when we go to a comedy show, we enter a magical sphere, and within this sphere, we take the darkest, worst parts of being a human and we laugh at it. And not every attempt at humor is going to exceed. There's going to be clumsiness. There's going to be swings and misses. Even the greats have swings and misses. But within this sphere, we're trying to take the worst things in life and turn them on their head. So, I mean, isn't there something like a jester's privilege here?
I think, sure. Yeah. If you want to say everything's fair game, and that's what Matt said, but what came back to bite him is if you're just telling everyone, hey, learn how to take a joke, and then literally the next day you can't take a joke publicly and you freak out on everyone. It's kind of ironic, don't you think?
I would think so. I think, I'm not sitting here saying, his joke was funny. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying I agree with him or that he shouldn't be canceled. I'm just trying to say, look, I understand the pushback from the other like comedian community.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Let's all joke. Let's all joke. I think Chris Rock, I went and saw him live after Will Smith smacked him, and he had a joke about Will Smith smacking him. He took something.
Like crazy because it just came out that Will Smith smacked him when him and Jada weren't even together, like living together or anything.
Bro, that whole thing is such a mess.
That was weird. But anyway.
Anytime I feel bad, I look at that. Well, anyway, the point is, what was the gist of Matt Rife's joke? It was that he went to like a restaurant and the waitress had a black eye. And I think his punchline was something to the effect of she has a black eye because she's bad at cooking. Is that?
Yeah. They were like,
that's rough.
She shouldn't be the face of the company with the black eye. And then his buddy said, yeah, they should put her in the kitchen. And he said, that's probably why she got the black eye. It's because she's not a good cook is what it was implying. But here's my thing. I lost respect for Matt. And like I said, dark humor at time and place. If it had actually been funny, I would have laughed. But he couldn't take the joke the next day when people started poking fun at him, particularly two surgeons. I saw one before their video got pulled and I didn't take a screenshot, but now it's gone. I'm pretty sure it's Dr. Miami. And then another surgeon that kept their video up was basically like, I did this great jawline on my client. And then he got canceled because it's very controversial for Matt Rife. He doesn't like to talk about how people think he had plastic surgery. He doesn't like to talk about that. So had he leaned into his own, like, take a joke, bro. Had he leaned into it and been like, good one, then I think it would have no one would be talking about it. But the fact that he couldn't take his own medicine was really funny, actually. It was funnier than his joke to me.
I think what happened is they don't like ego. Ego is a big turnoff. And one of the biggest things you'll see is defensiveness. And also people don't like a lack of empathy. And I think what happened with that joke is maybe... I don't want to defend a DV joke. I really don't. The only thing I really want to defend is comedy as an art form, because I think we do need a safe space where we enter this room and we say, here in this room, we laugh at the worst parts of ourselves. We laugh at things that we normally don't laugh at. We laugh at sickness. We laugh at grim things. It could be that Mr. Rife simply exceeded his skill level. I think that in more competent hands, a joke about domestic violence might be successful. I don't know. I'm not suggesting anyone should do it.
I just don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just don't know how someone could make that particular joke funny. But
nor can I.
Different humor. I don't think he would have been canceled for it if he had responded better. Him saying, I'm not sorry, learn how to take a joke, and then linking a special needs helmet. That was to double down and do something even worse.
That was worse.
That's to me when he went off the rails.
That was bad. To double down on it, I mean, it's one thing to show wit. I think given the situation, and actually, let me go back real quick. I want to be exceedingly clear. I'm not defending Matt Rife. He doesn't seem very funny. I don't think he's that handsome. Whatever. And I don't think domestic violence is funny. In fact, I remember, this is a memory from Fire Academy, that I still get secondhand cringe from this. It was so bad. Oh my God. One of the cadets in my academy wanted to make a joke because he heard that the instructor liked jokes. And so he said, what did he said? He made a joke about domestic violence. He said something like, I can't remember what it was. It was like, what do all battered women have in common? And the guy was like, what? And the guy said, they didn't listen. The entire academy went, oh,
really, get out.
Not a dude. You could hear a pin drop. Like everyone at once just went, oh, like it was bad. And then I remember that instructor just kind of did this and okay. And he walked away.
One of those. Yeah.
This was, dude, it's domestic violence isn't funny.
I was going to say,
it's just not a funny subject.
I've been the victim of domestic violence, so of course it's not funny to me, but I'm not entitled enough to think everyone should think the same way I do. And maybe that could be funny to some people, but I think his response is where he went wrong. Not so much the joke. It was him not leaning into his own advice to learn how to take a joke when people said, okay, what about these things? And that's when he started to unravel for me.
It sounds like we're both struggling to see how the subject matter could be funny in the first place. But it sounds like you're particularly upset with almost a hypocritical response. Like he wants to throw it.
I'm more upset at the response than the joke in my mind.
Well, yeah, because it's doubling down on I'm going to make fun of DV victims. Fine, take your best shot, but make sure you have the skills to back it up because that's a minefield, dude. And then he fell on his face. It was not a successful joke. Okay.
And to piss off the majority of your audience. So I think he had an axe to grind. He had a chip on his shoulder that he wanted to be a man's man and he doesn't want all this women audience, which he speaks out up. He literally says that, Ryan. He's like, I'm not just for the women and I'm going to offend them. That's kind of the attitude he's had. And so I think maybe he thought he had something to prove. And that's what he's being what he thinks a man is, which is not, but that's what I think he's doing.
I think that speaks to another issue. First of all, I did want to address your story with DV. Super sorry to hear about that. That's everyone deserves better. And I did want to say that I don't think you need to be a victim of it to recognize why this joke wasn't funny. I know I said, hey, in more competent hands, perhaps the subject matter could be made funny. That's a hard hypo. I can't think of anything. I'm not encouraging anyone to try.
And I'm not a buzzkill. Like, I'm sure that there's funny jokes out there, but my response was to, and real quick while we're talking about this for everyone listening, it doesn't get better if you're ever in a domestic violence situation. Get out. It doesn't get better. They're going to just escalate and it's going to get worse. And I don't want them to kill you. So just get out while we're on the subject. But we're not buzzkills. It just was like overall, it wasn't funny. And then he reacted in a way that wasn't funny. And the only funny thing to me was the surgeon roasting him actually, because that was extra funny to me because he literally couldn't take the joke. And nobody even said anything, Ryan. He called himself out by commenting and said lying about healthcare services is illegal, and he could have just ignored that and been kosher,
It's an ego thing, 100%.
Yeah,
it's an ego thing. While we're on the subject, I want to quickly shout out, if you or someone you love is a victim of domestic violence, there is help available. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7. English, Spanish, and several other languages are available. You can text START, START, to 88788, or you can call anytime 1-800-799-7233. Again, if you or someone you love is a victim of domestic violence, help is available. You are not alone. You can call 1-800-799-7233.
Great idea.
Had to get that out there.
Good idea to include that. Yeah, get it out.
Absolutely.
It doesn't get better.
It doesn't get better. When did you realize it wasn't going to get better?
So people that abuse, especially physical abuse, it starts off psychologically because they've got to be able to control you and know that you're not going to tell on them, first of all. So it just escalates. And it was going from they want the reaction and they want the control. And so for my situation, some physical things happened that were played off to look like an accident, like hitting my head into the refrigerator. Like I got my teeth chipped on the refrigerator. And it was always like played off. It was an accident. Just take a joke. Right. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'm crazy. And then the breaking point for me came, we got in an argument on Super Bowl Sunday because this person was just like a person. None of his friends showed up. He was mad and he did all this work to have this huge Super Bowl party. And we got into it because he was taking it out on me. And he threw my dog across the room. And I was like, that's it. You can abuse me. I'll put up with a lot, but don't touch my fucking dog.
But you are not touching the dog. Oh my God.
So the cops were called. My parents were called. I live out in the country. Some old school country discipline may or may not have occurred. And I never heard from that guy again.
Thank goodness.
I know.
If he had not thrown your dog, do you think you would have been stuck in there longer?
100%. Yeah. Because they do it gradually. It's like the boiling frog we were talking about earlier, where he didn't just punch me one day. It started off little and kind of got more, but it opened my eyes because I'm not a good advocate for myself, which I'm in therapy for, which we talk about a lot. But for others or for other things, that's where I can shine because I'm like protecting someone, So that's why I love representing my clients and being absolutely psychotic in a mediation. Like I'll do opening where I'll be like, they really hate their boss and I know we might want to settle it. And I'm like, do you want me to scream at him? And they're like, yeah. And I'll do it. I get crazy eyes. Sam tells me I'm like, we're not doing this today. Like I'm insane. And then we get into our breakout and they were like, that was awesome.
That is
had
awesome.
My dog not been thrown, I don't think that would have been triggered for me. And I would have probably put up with it for a lot longer.
Why is it so much harder to stand up for yourself than it is to stand up for others?
For me personally?
Yeah.
What you mean? I don't know. I think it's because it goes back to my childhood and some kind of like my childhood traumas, which everybody has. So it's not like it's like a unique or novelty thing, but that's just how my default is, where I'm like, my stuff doesn't matter. I want to advocate for this person. So actually my therapist all the time, I'll be like, oh, I wanted to make this dinner, but it's a lot of work. And Jordan, my boyfriend, doesn't like to eat it. And she's like, you are worth making the dinner you like to make. Like you're worth that time. And I'm like, you're right. Okay, I'll make it. So that's just kind of my default. However, it's triggering when it happens to other people is when I can step in and I'm just I get this like kind of out of body experience. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm like,
I do.
We're going to the mat, man. Like I don't got a dog. My dog in this fight is protecting my client. And I just want to watch your world burn a little bit,
I think the kids call that goblin mode.
Oh, is that
I think that's what they call it.
I'm so uncool.
I know exactly what that feeling is. And I'm the same way. I tend to let a lot of personal attacks and personal slights go. But when it's someone else, I snap. Like someone can be mean to me. And most of the time I let it go. As long as I've had my breakfast, I'm going to let it go.
Because you're not hangry.
Yeah, as long as I'm not hangry. But man, if you talk funny to one of my staff, like I get really protective of my staff, especially. And I think
that's why we're good at plaintiff law, though, is because you need to do that. Because you can't have someone who lets stuff like that slide and advocate for a client. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes without saying that we're crazy for our clients. That's why they hire us, because we're supposed to be there to protect them. So that to me is easy. That to me almost feels like firefighting all over again. They called 911 and I'm here to help them. Like that's how
that's really cool.
Oh, that's how it feels. It feels like I'm their personal firefighter. That's what it feels like. But then, when it's with my staff, it's a little different. It doesn't feel like I'm there to be their firefighter. It almost feels like I'm their leader. And who the hell would want to work at an office where the boss doesn't stand up for you?
Not me. That's why I quit. Because that's really telling to your staff whenever you see that they condone you being treated shitty like that, then you're like, I don't matter. I don't want to be here.
Yeah. I've seen other lawyers, like when something goes wrong, they throw their paralegal or their legal secretary under the bus, and they do it because they think it saves face for them. But it has the opposite effect. It makes me think they're weak. It's like, dude, I kind of assumed that your paralegal was doing XYZ, and I figure that you're just the boss. So
us as lawyers are responsible for what they do. So
exactly. It may not be your fault, but it's still your responsibility, bro. Like, I got lit up for something super stupid, like a little admin thing in a case. And it was one of my staff who made a mistake. It was, but I am the one responsible.
Right.
It makes no difference who physically touched the document and did what. The point is, I'm the boss. The mistake was on me. So when I have to go talk to someone and say, hey, we screwed this up, that's my job. And it is absolutely, just think of how embarrassing it would be. Like, oh yeah, well, my secretary really screwed that up, and she's a real idiot.
It is embarrassing.
That's more embarrassing for the boss than anyone else. That makes you look at the secretary and go like, sheesh, you need a new job. This guy sucks.
One of my first viral videos I had during COVID was that viral sound. It was like a clip from There's the Door. You can leave. You know what I'm talking about?
I think
that was my first. That was like from American Horror Stories. If you don't like it, you can leave is basically what it was. And so one of my favorite paralegals, Sarah McNaught, shout out. We set it up. I'm like, just doing one TikTok with me, you know, and it was her first TikTok she was ever in, and it went like viral with millions of views. But she's behind me, and it was like, if you're rude to the paralegal, you can leave. And she's like, there's the door.
I've seen that video. Yeah. I know that one. I think my first video I ever saw of you was you were in a park. You had like a big pink like one of those canteen things, and you were in like a workout outfit. I think you had just gone on a jog, and you were talking about employment law stuff. And I remember back then you had like 120,000 followers. I had like 3, and I remember seeing it and being like, wow, she's awesome. I hope I can be like her one day.
That's so funny. And now you are better. Now
absolutely not.
Behind the curtain of Oz, and you're like, I can do this better.
Oh, you're bigger than me on everything except YouTube.
Oh, I don't even know.
I think so. How many TikTok followers do you have now?
Have you seen how many YouTube I have? I think I have like 1,000 on YouTube, just because I don't love it. I don't love YouTube. It's hard for me to give it attention.
That's why it's not great.
It's my stepchild. I don't really like it.
Plants can feel when you don't like them.
My plants are dying right now too.
Yeah, you can't sit there and don't hate the plant and wonder why it's not growing. You got to put good energy. You got to put the vibes.
I need to do like a 30-day YouTube challenge where I just post every day what I'm already doing.
Well, I just started posting on Shorts. And then back when Twitter was going a little crazy and Threads wasn't up and running yet, I was using the community tab as like my de facto Twitter on YouTube. Oh. And so it was like my Twitter and a little place to post short videos for people who don't have TikTok. And it did really well. That blew up. And now we're starting to put the podcast, and we're experimenting with some longer videos. Like Drew's helping me finish it up. We have a little documentary we made on the history of minimum wage.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort into it. It's like 20 minutes, and I'm really excited for it to come out. So we're starting to like dip our toe into that sort of thing. But I would like to see you grow on YouTube. I think YouTube deserves to have someone like you on there.
I need someone to talk shit to me and be like, you won't be able to grow your YouTube, because then I'll do it. It'll activate me.
That's what I was about to say, is I think you are too dumb to do it, and you probably can't, and you'll hurt yourself if you try.
I need that motivation. I'm spite motivated.
I never understood that. I got to be honest. I respect it, and I think I get it, but if I don't respond to that, like if someone says, oh yeah, you can't do it, you're a bitch, I don't get I'll show you. I'm kind of like, you are an asshole, and I don't want you in my life.
You're like you take your ball and go home.
Like, I can't imagine responding well to negative reinforcement. Can you explain the psychology of that to me?
So it doesn't always work out well for me. Mm-hmm. Let me start with saying sometimes it makes me spin my wheels for nothing. However, I'm surviving purely out of spite at this point, and that's just how I am, like hardwired. I'm an Enneagram number 3. That's what we do. Like, if you say I can't do it, I'm going to do it just because you said that. And so, like, I can tell when people do the reverse psychology too, because I'm also manipulative, so I can tell when it's happening. But genuine people who think I can't do it, then I just want to do it to show them that I can. You know, I don't know. I've always been that way.
Is there an argument that maybe you're giving those people too much power?
Maybe, but do you know that's the only reason I went to law school too, is because I had a relative tell me I wouldn't be able to do it to make it through law school.
I hope you send them a Christmas card every year with your, diploma behind you, a nice picture. That'd be nice.
Oh, I have better revenge than that. There's nothing I do better than revenge.
Serve them a lawsuit via Twitter.
Yeah, I'm going to serve them through their email with my IIED lawsuit for like, why'd you tell me that? Why'd you make me subject myself to law school?
It's so funny because, I mean, I've certainly grown from negative people and bullies. I talk about that in the book too, like people who've bullied me in jobs and how I was like in my 20s, like learning how to grow a backbone and stand up for myself. I think everyone goes through that phase where you learn to push back against people. But it's the positive reinforcement that really had the biggest impact on me. I have a couple of people in my mind where they may not even realize it. They said something to me that just latched in my brain as a piece of positive reinforcement. And it was like, this person does not live in my head all day. They don't have the biases that I have. And this was a genuine, kind thing they said without the bias. So it must be true. Maybe I give that person too much power, but I got to say, those positive reinforcements, they've stayed with me for years.
Oh, yeah, I love that too. But it's just like what we were talking about earlier. There's so much negative and conflict that's kind of like few and far between for some of the people that we have to deal with. But I'm also a words of affirmation girly. So people that my clients that say nice things, or even like someone who just sends me a nice message on Instagram, literally almost makes me cry sometimes because I'm like, thank you for being nice to me for no reason.
Oh my God. I love that. You deserve it, Paige. And honestly, I have a bias where the negative amplifies a bit. Like I see the hate comments and I get so mad about them. And it's funny, Drew will be like, dude, people are loving that last video. Like they're saying it's really helpful and that they've had it before. And I'd be like, wow, I was so busy like clapping back at the 3 or 4 mean comments. I missed the
and my followers tell me they don't like it when I feed into the trolls, when I feed the trolls. So they even say like, can you just ignore them? We don't like it when you're being hateful like that. So I do try to not do videos like it now or that kind of thing. And I don't let it like control me, but I let it motivate me when someone's pissing me off. Because also some of the times, this is where I'm going to get extra psychological on you. Some of the times why people piss me off is there might be a little bit of truth to it, right? If someone's like, you don't know what you're talking about, and that's why I get so defensive or like whatever. Some of the times it pisses me off because there's a little bit of truth to it. So me being spiteful and using that to me is self-improvement. I'll be like, you're right. Maybe I didn't explain that well. Let's do another video and I'll talk about this. And so I see what you're saying is it does give them power, but I do it in a reflective way to be like, why did that bother me so much?
It sounds like, this year is almost over. We've done some work. I have a hypnotherapy session tomorrow. Very excited about it.
Nice.
It sounds like you and I are growing up a bit in a way. We
are. Look at us being like healthy and shit.
I think we met 2021.
During the pandemic. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And I think we've grown a lot since then. I think we're both, first of all, we've gained an additional 2.5 years of experience since then. So we're a little more confident in ourselves. We've both grown on social media together at roughly the same pace. You've always been a little bit ahead of me. But I feel like... No, I feel like we're growing up a bit. I think it'll be fun to check in next year and see how we are with the hate comments online.
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly just getting better, and you and I are always learning no matter what. And I think that's why our stuff isn't stale, is because we're okay with that constant learning, constant self-improvement. It's the people who don't do that get kind of left behind. I think like if you could fast forward in your crystal ball to us in 5 years, we're going to be like you're going to have a television show. I already know. Like, it's going to go so far, but it's because we're
Paige,
doing
I want to do that
now.
Yeah, no, I want to do that. And I want to do something with you. We've talked about it before.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right.
I'm going to go work at Buc-ee's and do incognito recovery and get some info for how good it is to work here.
I'm trying to figure out how we make it work. I want to do something like an employment law version of Kitchen Nightmares where Gordon Ramsay goes in there, and he's done a good job where he'll bring in the managers and be like, what's the problem with this place? Like, it's the servers. They only come here to make a buck. They don't care about the business. They're lazy. They're this, they're that. And he brings in the servers. What's the problem? The manager steals our tips. He's a dick. We don't like him. and then he brings them in the room and they confront each other and work their shit out. I mean, that'll happen in an episode sometimes.
I love that idea.
I kind of wonder if we could do something like that.
And you could do it. You know how John Taffer, you ever watch Bar Rescue? He does a similar thing, but he'll send in like his friend or his wife or someone they don't know to get a real experience. So literally we could go just work one shift, see what it's like. And I'll be like, he took my tips.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I think we could do that. So the way that with the trick is you've got to get buy-in from the boss. You've got to get buy-in from the business. So maybe when you go to them, it's what's the pitch? Like, fix my lazy employees. And then you go to the employees and it's like, fix my bad boss.
Like I think you have a lot to offer. You could be like, we'll remodel your business and check your compliance for free if you allow us to document the process.
Paige, I'm not writing a check to remodel someone's office.
No, not you paying it, but like you'll review their policies and what they're doing and like.
I see. I
think you could make this really incentivizing because we could have all employees that were going to participate have to sign like an NDA arbitration agreement or something, or like they release their claims for $1,000 to be in the episode from the boss or something like that. I'm just spitballing. But I think there's a way.
There's an ethics attorney who I think they actually lit on fire with the $1,000 to be on the show and not sue.
I think there's a way we can incentivize to companies to want to see where their issues are, but avoid liability. Because me as a business owner, if you're going to point out my liability, I want immunity, you know?
I would think anything absolutely has to start with, hey, no matter what I find, I'm not going to sue you. Now, if the DIR, the EEOC, or the DOL wants to talk to you, that's on you. But of course, we signed the contracts ahead of time, so you're not going to act crazy while I'm here, are you? They always act crazy. We're only going to do the show with crazy people.
I think there's a way we'll have to do it, or be like, this part is scripted.
I think it would be so cool. Like I had the idea, like when I was on Dr. Phil last year, shout out Dr. P, had a great time. It was really cool hearing the different viewpoints. Like we had the CEOs talking about quiet quitters and then we had the actual employees, and it got hot. But it was cool because the audience could sit and draw their own conclusions from both sides yelling at each other a bit. And Dr. Phil was kind of the mediator, you know. I would like to do something that combines that with Kitchen Nightmares. Let's keep working on it. And of course, we did this on the podcast, and we're going to post this. And if someone steals this shit, I swear to God,
no one will do it like us, you know.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Paige, thanks for hopping on with me today. For anyone, I'd be shocked if people don't know who you are, but for anyone who somehow doesn't know who you are, where can they find more of you?
Well, I don't even know my own handles. How bad is that? So I think on Instagram, I'm _Paige Sparks. And then on TikTok, I'm Lawyer Paige.
Wow.
And those are the only places you should try to find me. Please leave my personal Facebook alone.
Okay, that sounds good, Paige. Hey, thank you so much for everything.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Good to see you.
Right on.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.